Did you believe that immigrants brought disease to the UK in 1961? Is that a belief you held?
I have no reason to believe that at all, then or now. I think,
and would you admit that those statements are racist?
I don't know about racist. They're deeply offensive. And
you don't think it's racist to say that immigrants bring disease to the UK?
They might be a completely same race. They might be an immigrant from somewhere like Canada or exactly the same. It's nothing to do with race. It's
no, this was particularly
immigration.
about coloured people. Coloured immigration threatens your children's health, is a claim in the leaflet that I put before you.
It doesn't say coloured immigrants bring leprosy.
This is the direct quote from the leaflet. Coloured immigration threatens your children's health.
Absolutely. But that's not...
You're saying that's not racist?
I think probably, yeah, I think that probably is racist. I will concede that completely. But,
so would you issue an apology to the West Indians in Manchester, who must have been absolutely terrified?
I've no reason to apologise to anyone.
Please take your call afterwards. But I mean, you're not apologising to anyone for these racist statements? Statements you admit are racist?
This was a statement in a leaflet, which I'm not even sure is genuine, which would never reflect my view. It wouldn't reflect my view then or now, because I simply wouldn't dream of insulting people. A
lot of people might be really shocked that you can't apologise for a leaflet that has your name on the bottom, which makes statements that you admit now are racist.
If that leaflet is shown to be genuine, then I would certainly say it should not have been given. Absolutely.
Will you apologise to West Indians living in Manchester?
None of it's such nonsense that, will you apologise? The question is...
Why is that nonsense? People must have been terrified to see this leaflet circulating by the candidate that you backed, a candidate that you called quite a respectable man.
He was an ex-policeman, former international athlete, very decent person as far as I was concerned, and I thought he was then, and I think he is now.
You still think he's a decent person to put out a leaflet like this?
The thing is, you're accusing me of putting... I'm the person who's got their name on the bottom of the leaflet.
So you published the leaflet, you're legally responsible for it?
Absolutely. If that leaflet's genuine, I'm responsible for it, and it shouldn't have been issued. And the point I make is this, that I think it's perfectly legitimate to say we don't want immigrants to come in, and people are doing that now about the EU. What is not legitimate is when they get here to insult them or to say something offensive or difficult. And that, if that's correct, should not have been said.
But as recently as 2 years ago, you said that Walter Hesketh was an entirely reasonable person. You stand by those claims even now, and yet he was circulating these views in this by-election campaign.
The thing is that I think he was an entirely reasonable person. Those views should not, certainly in modern context, have been circulated. Because you've got to see this in the context of the time. This is 50-odd years ago. People talk completely differently. This was before there was any act of Parliament to restrict immigration. You had the Commonwealth Immigration Act in 1962, where people referred to coloureds and so on. That was the talk of the time. It's changed a little bit since then.
So you accept that the views in this leaflet are racist. When did you stop endorsing racist views?
Stop 1963.
So you admit that you were a racist in the past?
No, I don't. You said endorsing racist views. If that's racist, I cannot say I didn't endorse it, because I signed it. But I've never been a racist. I'm not a racist, never will be a racist.
But you published a racist leaflet?
In your view, yes. I mean, I think, you know, it's very disagreeable, but racism is where you're sort of attacking people because of their origins. That was an offensive statement about people bringing disease. Not quite the same thing.
You keep on changing your tune. You admitted it was a racist statement, and now you're trying to backtrack and say it's merely offensive.
Well, I think you could argue that it's racist, but that's not really what this is all about. And I mean, producing this now, 56 years later, and trying to distract from the Daily Mail and their activities. If you want to do an investigation, investigate the phone hacking, computer hacking, abuse of people like the Dowlers, the McCanns, and the...
Well,
why not do
this
that?
is a Daily Mail story, but we've checked it out independently. But is this leaflet one of the reasons that you're battling newspapers over their use of the Data Protection Act to erase your past, because you haven't fully owned up to your past?
Obviously not, because I didn't even know the leaflet existed when I had the News of the World case. And at the time...
Well, so you say.
Well, are you calling me a liar?
Well, I'm asking you...
Are you calling me a liar?
I'm asking you if you lied in court.
Obviously not.
Do you believe... Did you perjure yourself?
That is a most offensive question, which you shouldn't ask.
This is an offensive leaflet. Did you perjure yourself
this
in
is
the
an
High
offensive
Court?
question. I said that I denied that leaflet. I challenged the leading counsel to produce it.
You were very sure that the leaflet didn't exist.
Listen to this.
You told the child,
counsel,
if there was such a leaflet, you'd be able to produce
if you challenge leading counsel in the High Court to produce something, and you're wrong, it's a disaster. If I hadn't been absolutely certain that that leaflet didn't exist, I wouldn't have challenged him to produce it.
Now the leaflet has been produced, though. Are you worried that you might have perjured yourself in court?
Because, oh dear, perjury is saying something you should think is untrue, you know is untrue. I said something which I knew in my own mind was true. It's no question of perjury. It's because it's a really stupid and offensive question to ask that.